This is probably the biggest deal ever reached in any capacity, trade or beyond trade.
It is.
It's a giant deal with lots of countries, because, as you know, Ursula represents a lot of countries, not one country. It's not easy for you. It's because a lot of very different countries, great countries, but some are strong with cars, some are strong with agriculture, some are strong with both, right? You have a lot of different factors. So we're going to do the following. The European Union is going to agree to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy. $750 billion worth of energy. They are going to agree to invest into the United States $600 billion more than they're investing already. So they're investing a large amount of money. You know what that amount of money is. It's very substantial, but they're going to invest an additional $600 billion. They're agreeing to open up their countries to trade at zero tariff. So that's a very big factor. Opening up their countries, all of the countries will be opened up to trade with the United States at zero tariff. And they're agreeing to purchase a vast amount of military equipment. We don't know what that number is, but it's the good news is we make the best military equipment in the world, so sort of you have to do that. I mean, until somebody tops us, which is not going to happen. We're way ahead of every other country in terms of the quality of the military equipment. You saw that recently in Iran, and you see that, unfortunately, you see that often for all the wrong reasons, right? So those things are $750 billion. $600 billion, opening up the country. We are agreeing that the tariff straight across for automobiles and everything else will be a straight across tariff of 15%. So we have a tariff of 15%. We have the opening up of all of the European countries, which I think I could say were essentially closed. I mean, you weren't exactly taking our autos, you weren't exactly taking our agriculture, and then you would have smaller things, but for the most part it was closed. And now it's open. It's open for our companies to go in and do a good job with it. I think you'll like them. I think you'll like it. And we will, very importantly, they'll be investing a lot of money, but the military is a big number, but that's one number we're not determining. It's going to be whatever it is, but they're going to be purchasing hundreds of billions of dollars worth of military equipment. They're very important. They're going to purchase $750 billion worth of energy. So that's going to be great. And $600 billion worth of investments into the United States over and above what they have. So, and I think that basically concludes the deal. I mean, those are the main factors. I don't think there are too many other factors, other than we're going to get along great. And we have a great relationship now with NATO, which is largely the same. I mean, not exactly, but pretty close, right? Largely. And with NATO, as you know, they're going up to 5% from 2%. And the relationship is very strong with NATO. So I just want to congratulate you. I think it's great that we made a deal today instead of playing games and maybe not making a deal at all. I think it's. I'm going to let you say, but I think it's the biggest deal ever made. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
U.S. President Donald Trump and European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen have reached a trade deal during talks in Scotland. The agreement settles a dispute over tariff hikes. Von der Leyen stated that tariffs will be 15% across the board. Trump said that the EU will buy $150 billion worth of U.S. energy and will make $600 billion in U.S. investments. Both sides hailed it as a good deal.
I think it's great that we made a deal today instead of playing games and maybe not making a deal at all. I think it's, I'm going to let you say, but I think it's the biggest deal ever made. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
We have a deal. We have a trade deal between the two largest economies in the world. And it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It will bring stability. It will bring predictability. That's very important for our businesses on both sides of the Atlantic.
Right. DW correspondent Birgit Maas is in Turnberry, Scotland for us. Hello, Birgit. I mean, there was a 50-50 chance of striking a deal today, and now both sides have a trade deal in place. What's in the deal?
Yes, a huge relief, I think, for a lot of European industries that a trade war is averted. So we're still waiting, I think, on a lot of the small print. But we know that it's a 15% tariff that has been agreed. And also that the EU will buy US energy, will buy US military equipment, and will also make investments in the US, $600 billion investments in the US, that has been said. So there's a lot, I think, that the US has extracted from the European Union, but still for European business, this will be a huge relief that it's not a tit for tat and that it's 15% and not more.
Right. It's interesting what you said, and in your statement, that what the U.S. has extracted from the European Union, because Donald Trump and Ursula von der Leyen wanted a deal to be based on fairness. Do you think that was achieved?
Yes, that's what Ursula von der Leyen said before. She said she acknowledges that there must be a rebalancing of trade. However, I think many here in the EU might also say, critics of President Trump might say that he has used his leverage that he has when it comes to security policy. So the US has been in the past, NATO and the US has been a big guarantor of European security. And this obviously comes all in a mix. So Europe needs the US not just for trade, but also for the general security situation with the war in the continent of Europe, in Ukraine, and the threat that's being posed by Russia. So many would say that the US president has, in a way, strong-armed the EU in order to get these concessions. But we will see what the details are that come out. We don't know, for example, what happens with steel and with aluminium. There were 50% tariffs. These 15% that have been agreed, is this across the board, or are there exceptions? So yeah, we will see until the details come out.
Right, you're right. We'll have to wait to see what the details are. Talking about also agriculture and other sectors that need to be addressed. But I mean, for European businesses, this must be a sigh of relief for them, right?
Yes, and we have had European businesses come out in the past. VW, the big German car manufacturer, has said that they had over €1 billion of losses because of these tariffs, punitive tariffs by the US. Other companies have come out as well. And it's not just those manufacturers that are relying heavily on steel and aluminium, but it's also other manufacturers across Europe. It's a whole chain, supply chain that are depending also on steel and aluminium, and they will be particularly pleased if these high tariffs are averted in the future.
Right. It's being described as the biggest deal ever made. DW correspondent Birgit Maas reporting from Scotland. Thank you.
Here to live now from Fox. I'm Andy Mack. Just days ahead of a deadline between the United States and their most crucial, biggest trading partner, the European Union, a deal has been reached, at least preliminarily. As you can see this from the Associated Press, breaking the U.S. and the European Union have announced a trade framework after Trump holds a tariff talk with the top European official, as they've reached a tariff deal on Sunday after a brief meeting between President Trump and the European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen. A White House deadline was just days away from imposing punishing taxes on the 27-member EU. These make-or-break talks were meant to head off trade penalties and promised retaliation from Europe that could have sent shockwaves through economies around the world. President Trump and von der Leyen held private talks at one of Trump's golf courses in Scotland, then emerged a short time later saying they had reached an across-the-board agreement. Let's take you out to some comments just a little bit ago from the European Commission chief here, and let's listen in to them on Live Now.
This is the second building block reaffirming the transatlantic partnership. Allow me to go into some details. We have stabilized on a single 15% tariff rate for the vast majority of EU exports. This rate applies across most sectors, including cars, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals. This 15% is a clear ceiling, so no stacking, all inclusive. So it gives much needed clarity for our citizens and businesses, and this is absolutely crucial. Today, we have also agreed on a zero-for-zero tariffs on a number of strategic products. This includes all aircraft and component parts, certain chemicals, certain generics, semiconductor equipment, certain agricultural products, natural resources, and critical raw materials. And we will keep working to add more products to this list. On steel and aluminium, the European Union and the US face the common external challenge of global overcapacity. We will work together to ensure fair global competition and to reduce barriers between us. Tariffs will be cut and a quota system will be put in place. We will also increase our energy cooperation. Purchases of US energy products will diversify our sources of supply and contribute to Europe's energy security. We will replace Russian gas and oil by significant purchases of US LNG oil and nuclear fuels. US AI chips will help power our AI gigafactories and help the US to maintain their technology edge. Today, with this deal, we are creating more predictability for our businesses. In these turbulent times, this is necessary for our companies to be able to plan and to invest. We're ensuring immediate tariff relief. This will have a clear impact on the bottom lines of our companies. And with this deal, we are securing access to our largest export market. At the same time, we will give better access for American products to our market. This will benefit European consumers and make our businesses more competitive. This deal provides a framework from which we will further reduce tariffs on more products, address non-tariff barriers, and cooperate on economic security. Because when the European Union and the United States work together as partners, the benefits are tangible on both sides. At the same time, we're building a true foreign economic policy. And for this, we have started at home. We're taking bold action to make Europe more competitive, more innovative, and more dynamic. Our single market with its 450 million consumers is our greatest asset and our safe harbor, especially in turbulent times. We're also creating new trade partnerships around the world, expanding from the 76 we already have. We've concluded negotiations in the last month with Mercosur, Mexico, and Indonesia. In an unsettled world, Europe is a reliable partner, and we will continue to deliver deals that help safeguard our prosperity. Finally, I want to thank President Trump personally for his personal commitment and leadership to achieve this breakthrough. He's a tough negotiator, but he is also a deal maker. I want to thank Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič and his team for their tireless work and skillful steer. They've done most of the heavy lifting. And I want to thank our member states for their trust and their commitment. Our unity is our strength at home and abroad. We will continue to work hard for the benefit of all Europeans. Thank you very much.
President Donald Trump announcing just moments ago that the United States and the European Union reached a framework for a trade deal after his talks with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen at his Turnberry Golf Club in Scotland. Let's listen in on that.
But for the most part, it was closed. And now it's open. It's open for our companies to go in and do a good job with it. I think you'll like them. I think you'll like it. And we will, very importantly, they'll be investing a lot of money, but the military is a big number, but that's one number we're not determining. It's going to be whatever it is, but they're going to be purchasing hundreds of billions of dollars worth of military equipment. They're very importantly, they're going to purchase $750 billion worth of energy. So that's going to be great. And $600 billion worth of investments into the United States over and above what they have. So, and I think that basically concludes the deal. I mean, those are the main factors. I don't think there are too many other factors, other than we're going to get along great. And we have a great relationship now with NATO, which is largely the same. I mean, not exactly, but pretty close, right? Largely. And with NATO, as you know, they're going up to 5% from 2%, and the relationship is very strong with NATO. So I just want to congratulate you. I think it's great that we made a deal today instead of playing games and maybe not making a deal at all. I think it's. I'm going to let you say, but I think it's the biggest deal ever made. Thank you very much.
Thank
Congratulations.
you very much. Yeah, thank you. We have a deal. We have a trade deal between the two largest economies in the world. And it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It will bring stability. It will bring predictability. That's very important for our businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. It's 15% tariffs across the board, all inclusive. The investments Mr. President just described, that are going to go to the United States and the purchases over there. Indeed, basically, the European market is open. It's 450 million people. So it's a good deal. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It was tough negotiations. I knew it at the beginning, and it was indeed very tough, but we came to good conclusions for both sides. So again, congratulations and many thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Trump just walked off his Scottish golf course grinning like he just sold the moon, declaring this the biggest deal ever made between the U.S. and the European Union. According to him, Europe will buy $750 billion worth of American energy, invest another $600 billion into the U.S., and purchase massive amounts of U.S. military equipment, all wrapped inside a 15% flat tariff that supposedly levels the playing field. Fox News calls it a home run. Republicans cheer. But here's what they won't say. None of this is legally binding, none of this is detailed, and none of this helps working Americans in the way it's being sold. First of all, tariffs are taxes. A 15% flat tariff on EU imports means American consumers are paying more for cars, more for machinery, more for goods we rely on. And let's not forget, this entire situation was created by Trump's threats of 50% tariffs in the first place. He manufactured a crisis, then claimed victory for not making it worse. It's political arson followed by a photo op with the fire extinguisher. And those billion-dollar numbers? They're vapor. There's no documentation, no contracts, just declarations from a podium. What does it even mean for the EU to invest $600 billion? Where? Over what time frame? In what industries? And what oversight is there to ensure any of it happens? It's fluff. Meanwhile, the promise that Europe will buy $750 billion in U.S. energy sounds impressive until you realize it's likely spread over decades and may be more about replacing Russian gas than rewarding American policy. Trump didn't negotiate that leverage, geopolitics did. Now let's talk about the military sales. Trump boasts that they have to buy our military gear because it's the best. But there's no clarity on what's being sold, to whom, or under what terms. It's just another vague flex dressed up as diplomacy. On the EU side, leaders like Ursula von der Leyen try to put a positive spin on it, calling the deal a sign of transatlantic stability. But the subtext is obvious. This wasn't a negotiation among equals. It was a scramble to avoid a trade war with a U.S. president who was ready to pull the trigger. That's not a partnership, that's a hostage negotiation. And while Wall Street might cheer the announcement, regular people workers, small businesses, families are left with more expensive goods, higher costs, and zero real guarantees. This isn't how smart trade policy works. This is how political theater works. So here's the question. Does this deal actually improve lives, or is it just another Trump stage play with big numbers, no follow-up, and a round of applause from sycophants on cable news? Let us know in the comments. Hit like if you're tired of these fake wins dressed up as victories, and don't forget to share, because Spin This Loud needs to be called out even louder.